Hi, how y'all doing? Today is June the 11th, 2025. It's Wednesday? Or no, is it Wednesday or Tuesday? I gotta check. Wednesday. Here in Ontario, Canada, the sky was cloud covered again. You can see a little bit of blue through the clouds, but that's about it. It's the same weather we had yesterday. My hair's messed up. It's bugging me. I slept pretty good last night. The night before, I slept, but I rose at 5 o'clock in the rising. And I was like, what the heck am I doing up this early? And I could not go back to sleep. I tried all day yesterday to have a nap because I was so tired, but I couldn't do it. I wasn't able to do it, right? And I realized it was the energy um, keeping us hyper alert, our minds kind of thing. But our bodies wanted to rest and it just wasn't syncing together for some reason. But today I woke up at 4:30 in the rise and I was like, nah, I'm not doing this again. Right? There's no reason to get up. I'm not doing it. I'll just lay here and roll around. And I ended up going, it took me a while, but I went back to sleep and woke up just before 7. So I got some rest. Oh, dang. My son's here. I'm going to close my door. Oh, hey, Don. So anyways, I'll get back to it. Schuman was 25 yesterday. I don't know what it is today. I think it's lower. My ear's not ringing at all. And yesterday, it was ringing quite loudly again. I went to the chiropractor in the rise today. I was telling about my heart thing, how it phases, right? And he said, you know what's doing it? And I said, yeah, I believe it's the Kundalini energies rising and it keeps on getting stuck there, right? And he was like, sounds like, yeah, sounds like that would be a thing, right? He's very open to what I say, you know what I mean? And he even gives me extra ideas to think about it a different way. So I appreciate that. Um, something weird happened yesterday. I told him this too, right? I said, probably people are going to think I'm crazy, but I'm telling you anyway. Yesterday was the 11th of June. We went back a day for some reason. Today should be the 12th. I have confirmations. I was sitting and yesterday and I looked at the calendar and it was the 11th and it was the full moon, right? And then I was watching a numerology tarot guy on YouTube yesterday and he said, yes, it was the 11th yesterday, right? And he added all the numbers up and everything. And then another tarot or another reader said it was the 11th, right? And I looked at my moon app yesterday, I looked at the date, and it was the 11th. And all of a sudden, I wake up in the rise, and it's the 11th today. And I was like, why are we having to repeat the day? I don't know if you've felt this. I think it's part of the glitching. Because yesterday, YouTubers and stuff are having a hard time with uploading stuff on their screens. And my chiropractor, I left a message and her message machine did this really weird thing, right? It was glitching. She said, I never got the message. I listened to the messages and nothing. I was like, you were saying some really strange stuff on there, right? She said, really? I said, yeah. And she goes, it must have been the internet, right? But it kind of adds up, doesn't it? That the tech would be acting that way, especially if we're going to repeat a day. Why do we have to repeat the day? The full moon is supposed to be tonight, right? According to today. I seen the moon last night too. It was the first time I've seen the moon all month again. I only see it when it's full, and it was right straight across from me. Kind of an orangey color. So yeah, I thought that was really strange, right? And numerology, it all adds up to 2, the date yesterday. So, yeah. I'm not sure what this is about. My chiropractor was telling me about, we were working on my body and stuff, and he was saying, oh, that's your fascia. I said, I know, right? How come it's only tight on one side and everything? Right? I said, how do I fix this? And he said, I got no idea. Stretch. And the old guy said, I'm not able to stretch. My sons tell me to stretch all the time, but it cramps me up so bad, I think I'm going to die. Right? And then he says, he thought about it. He goes, yeah, he says, you're different. He says, they can't tell people like you, somebody like you, to do what everybody else is doing because it doesn't work out for them. I said, my whole life has been like that. I've been different from people ever since I can remember. I'm not part of the crowd. I said, and if I force myself to be part of them, it doesn't turn out well. They don't accept me or they fight with me, you know what I mean? Because I'm a Taurus, I'm a natural born leader. And he says, I can see it. He says, I get what you're saying. He says, you're super sensitive. I said, I am super sensitive. All right. So I got to figure out how to work with my fascia to get it to loosen up on my left side, because it's affecting my whole left side from top to bottom, right? So yeah, I was talking to my son yesterday too, and I was listening to this tarot card reader, and he said, be your authentic self. Do what's authentic. And I was like, what's authentic to me? How am I authentic? Like, what do I do that's authentic? Right? And my son was like, I don't know, Mom, you have to figure that out. It's not a question I can answer for you. And I was like, all right. And then I thought about it, and I went back in my mind to when I was 20, and I first got together with my first husband. We got invited to a dinner party by another couple, and it was a trick, right? We went there, and they had another guest there, and he was there to get us to become salesmen for this expensive vacuum cleaner they had in the 80s. I can't remember the name of it. I tried to thought about it and but not able to bring it back. But anyways, there was part in it when he was saying, okay, you can become rich doing this and becoming a salesman. And it was a pyramid scheme, right? And all this stuff. And he said, if you had all the money, if you had trillions of dollars, what would you do? What would you get for yourself? I said, world peace. Everybody has a roof, food. Nobody's sad. Everybody's happy and loved. He was like, well, that's not what I mean. Like, what would you buy? Like a Ferrari or anything? I said, world peace. Right? Before I served myself, I would make sure that everybody has to be happy. It's just like with the critters and the creatures, right? Always have love and a place to live and food to eat, and good health, you know? That's what I would do if I had all the money. And he didn't like that answer because I wasn't being materialistic. You know what I mean? I didn't want fine jewelry and fur coats and mansions and world trips and all this. To me, that has no consequence. It doesn't matter. I want everybody to be happy and looked after, right? So I said that to my son. He was just looking at me, and he was like, yeah. I said, it's all I've ever really wanted, right? So, yeah, I think my son, the one that got a job, is an NPC. I was watching this thing about how to tell if you're around a soulless being, right? Because they're in your families. They sit at your dinner table with you. They can be sleeping in bed beside you, right? And there was a YouTube about it yesterday. I listened to it, and I started thinking about who in my life has been like that. They repeat themselves all the time. They're always on script. They could show emotion and stuff like that, but it's always something someone else said, you know? Nothing is organic or original. So I was thinking, that's interesting, right? Well, that is different, isn't it? So, yeah. I don't know what the Schuman is today. I think it is lower, though. My ear is not rain. So, yeah. And the cats are better behaved today. They were all antsy yesterday, too. I was telling them, you feel like I do, don't you? I tried to lay down. My foot was too tense. I wasn't able to lay down for long, and my mind just kept on saying, "Do this, do this, do this, do that." You know what I mean, kind of thing. So it's just like, forget about it. But yeah. All right. I just wanted to tell you that stuff. Every day I'm stronger than the day before. Every day I heal myself more than the day before. And every day I have more to be grateful for than the day before. I love you all to consciousness. Enjoy this night or day. Okay? Okay. Bye.